Yo, 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 what's up, all you burner stoners and potheads? This is Weedman 420 with the Weedman 420 Chronicles. How are all you vipers doing, Mrs. Weedman?
Mr. Weedman.
How the hell are you?
Doing great.
I love it. I forgot my glasses.
Oh,
Hey, everybody
I
out
thought
there.
something looked different.
Hey, everybody out there in the world. Hope you're smoking some big fat doinks while you're listening to the show. And Mrs. Weedman and I are about to get normal. Light that joint up. And we're smoking Stanky Glue and grown by our friend Big Earl, our buddy. Love you, Big Earl. Thank you for this great strain we're about to smoke. And we got a bunch of stuff going on this weekend, don't we, Mrs.
We
Weedman?
do.
Yes.
We
Come
do.
check us out this Saturday. We will be at the Legacy event, holding it down number three at Stash Dispensary in Orland Hills. We'll be there from, I think it starts at 5 or 6? 5?
6 to 10 p.m.
6 to 10 p.m. We will be there hanging out, rolling doinks, 8 Decades gear with all of our friends that come out and do those events with us, and we're looking forward to it. So it'll be a lot of fun. Come check us out at the Stash event in Orland Hills.
I believe tickets are on sale on Stash or Legacy on their Instagram pages.
Sweet. Check us out that. And then Sunday, we are at Brunch of Stoners.
Yeah, it's
their
gonna
Halloween
be the spooky brunch.
bash. And
Yeah.
Mrs. Weedman's already decorating stuff, already getting her table ready. We're having so much fun. We'll be out in the tent once again, rolling doinks, having fun, bringing our vibe to all you people out there. And I cannot wait to see what Mrs. Weedman has for the tent. She's got some cool decorations she's going to have. It's going to be spooky. I'm super stoked. What else about Brunch of Stoners? You got anything?
Yeah, we have some holiday decor. We're going to have our rolling station set up. So there will be space if you bring your own flower. Come on in and roll a joint in the tent and hang out with us. Usually student glasses out there also with a flower sponsor and the student glasses going. And I think weather's going to be decent. So it
Right.
should be a fun day.
Yes,
So come
and-
out and see us.
Yes, and both events we're going to have weed sponsors. Midwest Terps, I believe, for Saturday, and we will have Ralph Wiley on Sunday.
Yeah.
Super stoked. Great breeders, great growers, great flower. You're all going to be getting to try and taste and smell and have some really good highs with their stuff. So I'd like to thank them both for throwing to the cause. We appreciate you. And
If I could chime in too, if you ever go to the 8 Decades website, 8decades.com, spelled out, we are a lot of things. On that website, it is obviously primarily our store, the 8 Decades goods, and our goods online. We have more items than what you would see if you see us at a pop-up. You'll just see everything in person. We also have swag for the Weedman 420 Chronicles podcast, so check that out. And there are links to the podcast show. So there's a lot of information on there. And a big thing, and the reason I'm going into this detail, is that I wanted to talk about Last Prisoner Project. So Last Prisoner Project is a foundation, a charity that is insistent on getting nonviolent cannabis offenders out of prison. And they work really tirelessly to try to help these convicts get out, get their records expunged, and get back to living. It is a very, very important organization. There are other organizations doing the good work too, but that is the organization that we chose to support. And when you check out at 8decades.com, you have the option to donate. And just know that that donation is not coming to me. It doesn't funnel through me and then to the organization. It goes directly to the organization. And they know that you are donating via our store. And it's just important. It's an important thing. So in the past, we have done, when we do our pop-up shop, it's also kind of a meet and greet for the podcast, and we roll joints for people. It's a nice little giveaway. It's a time for you to sit and chat with Mr. Weedman while he rolls you a joint.
and also Mrs. Weedman spiel.
And I give the elevator spiel about our business, but really it's a lot of things, right? But really what we're trying to do is stomp the stigma. That is our biggest motivation behind all of these things that we do. Get rid of the stigma and start teaching about this plant and the medicine and the therapeutic properties of this plant. So with that said, if you stop at our booth, if you sign up for our newsletter, if you purchase something, we roll a joint for you. But we are asking then for a contribution to go to Last Prisoner Project. So you'll be able to go online at our booth. I'm going to have my iPad, and you can go online and you can contribute to Last Prisoner Project and feel good about helping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please support. Help get those 42,000 prisoners for low-level cannabis crimes, non-violent cannabis crimes out of prison because they don't belong there.
That's right.
For a
That's
plant.
right.
What did we do this weekend? We had a nice weekend. Our kids came by. And if you haven't been enjoying this beautiful weather Chicago's been given, whew, man, this has been beautiful. 75 to 80 during the day, 50s at night. Oh, my gosh, it's been great sleeping weather with no air conditioning on. So I love to shut that air conditioning off as fast as possible. But our kiddos came by. And then Mr. and Mrs. Weedman on Saturday night, blast from the past. Old school DJs from the 90s to probably like mid 2000s. Yes. And one DJ I'll talk about because I've been a big fan since like 1995. And the DJ's name is DJ Icy. He was there. And I never thought I'd get to see DJ Icy 30 years later, 32 years later, 30 years later. Never thought I'd get to see DJ Icy again, and he was in Aurora, Illinois, at what was it called? Piazza.
Piazza.
Big,
like a big
old
bar,
nightclub, outdoor volleyball courts, beer garden. Then indoor was like a bunch of different rooms and a big main room, and they do music, live music there all the time, and really cool spot. But the cool thing about it was DJ Icy was there. And I got to see him. And then another blast from the past.
Get ready.
Yeah, Chicago legend in house music. House Connection played, and Bad Boy Bill and Nick Fusion threw it out there. Chicago house style. Like, I was hearing songs from like 2000. I've seen Bad Boy Bill once at a club I worked at. And he is a Chicago house legend. I mean, if you want to see somebody that's mastered their craft in house music, Bad Boy Bill's the person you want to see if you haven't seen him. And they were throwing some old school, new school mix. And the two of them were going at it back and forth, switching off, switching on together. They were mixing together. It was a great show to have those two. Plus, there was, it was like 30 DJs. It started at 11 and went to 2 a.m.
There were 6 stages, so it was just nonstop music. Right. Yeah, it was pretty cool. So I just pulled up Bad Boy Bill. He is from Chicago, literally.
Yeah.
And his name is William Renkasic, a good Chicago boy.
Good Chicago boy.
And he got his start in 1985.
Wow.
With the Chicago house music movement.
Beautiful. And he was B96 DJ for a minute too. Yeah, long time. B96 Friday nights.
Oh my God.
It was amazing.
Put your tape cassette in there and push record.
Yeah. And then we saw Henry Fong.
Yeah, he was good.
Banging, throwing more of a new school style out there. But he was like throwing like all different styles of dance music. Like just like one song had like four different like different types of beats, from like techno to EDM to house. I was like, holy shit, this dude's amazing. And then one of the rooms we walked in, and Faces of Music. They were really good. And we saw the saxophone player one other time by herself, DJing and playing the sax at the same time. But I don't remember her name, unfortunately. But it was a 3-piece band. It was a guitar player, saxophone, keyboardist, and then had 2 DJs behind mixing on the mixing while they were all playing. And they were playing it was incredible. An hour-long set. That was really good. And then it got to be like 11 o'clock, and Mr. Weedman was done. I wanted to see DJ Caffeine.
Out so fast.
I wanted to see DJ Caffeine so bad. And
we're like, I think we can go now.
I wanted a snack.
I had my broken stub toe from the beach. It was bugging
and we
me.
got there early. We got there about 7:30, so we were there from 7:30 to 11, which is long. But I mean, I'm 52, and I used to be able to go from 7 to 2 a.m. like it was nothing. By 11 o'clock, I was like, "You good? We can wait for Caffeine. He's coming on in about 15 minutes." I'm like, and you're like, I'm all right, but I'm like, I actually want a snack, and all I had was like bar food, and I wanted a snack. I wanted some like candy or ice cream or something. And I knew we had a snack bag in the car that we bought, and I'm like, I'm ready. You're like, okay, let's go. Now tell me your story. What happened out in the parking lot?
Oh my God!
You got called what?
I was called a boomer. Like, geez, do I look that old? The fuck?
I'm crying.
So, the kind of simultaneously, I like literally climbed in my car and shut my door, and the guy in the car next to us was trying to do the same thing, and he was being like overly dramatic in this kind of weird way about like not swinging his door open and hitting my car, like I wouldn't have to worry about. And he was being like super theatrical. I'm like, dude, don't worry, you're good. You got room. And so we were snacking in the car, and we have these really good fruit snacks. The organic
so
fruit snacks
good.
from Aldi are insane. So we were enjoying some, and I had another package of them unopened, and I stuck my hand out the window. I'm like, here, when you get in your car, eat one of these. You can thank me later. And he's looking at me like,
I got kids.
I got kids. And I'm like, well, okay.
And I
enjoy
I
'em.
yelled out, I'm like, they're really good for the ride home. We were just being nice. We were fucking stoned.
So then
and we had the
the
munchies.
girl with him says, hey, wait a minute, can you take our picture? And I'm like, is she really asking me to get out of the car and take a picture? Like, all right, okay.
She said we don't get out much.
Yeah, she said we don't get out. I'm like, yes.
We got 10 kids at home.
She says we have 10 kids, and he's like, well, no, we don't. We have 3. But I picked up this parking lot lizard, and she's got a bunch of other kids from her other baby daddy. I was like, oh my God. What the fuck is happening right now?
Oh my God.
So there's a
Called his wife a lot lizard.
Yeah, there's a white semi parked, and it has no words written on the door, but there was a small, like a pinup, and the girl was kind of dressed pinup style. And so I was like, oh my God, okay, I got you guys. Go stand close to the semi. It's going to be your backdrop. It's going to look great. And so then I kind of like took the picture at like a lower angle because I thought the lighting would be cool, like the blue sky behind them, the contrast of the white truck behind them, and they would pop out. I was being very conscientious of the everything that was going into this photo.
Yep.
And so because I kind of squatted down to take this picture, he goes, oh, look at her. That's a boomer move. Look at her. Look at the boomer. Oh my God. And I was like, oh my God. Oh my God, is he really saying these things? All right, okay, all right. So then I said, move this way, move that way. Take a couple pictures. Hand him the phone. I'm like, again, you can thank me later because you're going to like those pictures.
I would have deleted them.
Yeah. And then he said something else. There was some other critique. He had something else to say, and I was just like, what a fucking jerk. What a fucking jerk. But we had fun. We had a fun night.
Yes.
And they've got a couple really good pictures. So if they happen to listen to the show for some reason... Hey, I hope you frame one of those because I think they were pretty cool.
You take actually really good pictures.
Yeah.
So, and you were actually being thoughtful because, hey, you don't get out much. I'm going to make sure I'm going to give you a good
composition.
And you got
like
called.
I'm like, you're in a parking lot. Oh, He's like, it's okay. We're just white trash. I'm like, yo, I didn't say anything about you being white trash. He's like, oh, well, you just had to stand in front of a semi. I was like, you are in the middle of a dirty parking lot with dirty rocks and ugly cars. I was giving you a nice backdrop. Like, just look at the pictures later, all right? Like, come on.
His wife was going to appreciate
Yeah, she was fine.
Yeah, she's going to appreciate those pictures.
I think he just had too many beverages.
Way
and he was
too many
cranky.
shots of tequila.
He was cranky.
He was a little
really
saucy.
Cranky.
And I know that besides the pictures you took, I know they enjoyed those fucking fruit snacks we gave him.
Yeah, they did.
Clutch.
They were probably like, these are
Clutch.
great. He's probably like, buy these for our 10 kids.
We're stoned. I wanted some sweet. We're driving home, and I devoured 2 of those fruit snack bags, and you had a bunch of chocolate you were eating. We were just happy and laughing about you being called a boomer. But I will say it was amazing seeing some friends too. There was some cannabis people that had tables set up at it too. We got to see our friend Angie, which is great.
Angie.
We got to see Moonrock Matt.
And Angie has grown with intention.
Yes.
So she has their house plants that are hemp plants.
Yeah.
So very cool. You can buy like a grow your own kit, or you could buy a Rudy Alice like mini bonsai plant. They kind of shape them. And then she has all of these kind of special crystals and cute charms, and you could put them on the wires. And when you bonsai your plant, then you have all of these intentional good wishes that go with it. It's very cool.
Very cool.
Great
Check her out.
concept.
She does workshops and she does courses too. She does classes at different areas. So check her out and buy her stuff because it's amazing.
Yes.
And Moonrock Matt is funny. He always dresses up in the moon costume and comes around with the big leaf blower.
He's in an astronaut costume.
Yeah, he's in an astronaut costume, and he blows weed and with the big leaf blower and stuff.
And you can like stand in a row and he'll like blow you out.
Yeah, so it was good to see them. And there was other vendors there too, though I didn't know any of them, but they had some really cool stuff. So it was good to see cannabis was in full effect and showing some love to the cannabis scene there. And it was just great seeing friends, familiar faces too, and saying hi to people. So it was great. So thank you, DJ Icy, Bad Boy Bill.
Good get together.
And Henry Fong and everybody that we got to see there and just really have a good time. We were stoned. I think that's another reason why we smoked 3 joints, and that third one, man, made me so tired. I mean, that's why I think I fell out around 11 o'clock. I'm like, I'm going to go home. Plus, I was dancing so much, my legs were sore.
Mr. Weedman got his freak on.
Kid Fresh came back. I was in my jumpsuit.
He had a sweatsuit on. He was calling it his jumpsuit.
I was in my jumpsuit. Which was great, though, because there was a lot of people from like the late 90s, early 2000s. There was a lot of people our age. Yeah. And there was some people dressed from that 90s rave area, early 2000s rave. They were dressed up. They took them out of their closets.
I think some may not have taken it out of the closet. I think some are still all in.
Probably. It was great. I had a great time with you, Ms. Weedman. It was great. Thank you, Piazza, for having that concert. It was great to see some old school DJs. So, and don't forget, check out 8decades.com. We talked about it once, but Mrs. Weedman's baby, go on there and check out 8decades.com, our new pricing. Buy yourself a smoke set, buy yourself a grinder, buy yourself some clothing, and check us out. Read our bio. We appreciate you. 8decades.com. You ready to get the show started?
Let's do it.
Let's do this. Cannabis and brain aging. Can THC reverse cognitive decline? Ooh. A new frontier of anti-aging research has emerged from an unexpected source, cannabis. Recent studies led by the researchers from the University of Bonn and the Hebrew University of Jerusalem have revealed that THC, the active compound in cannabis, could potentially reverse some aspects of brain aging. These findings open up promising new avenues for treatment targeting age-related cognitive decline in conditions like Alzheimer's disease. New research finds THC may reverse brain aging. What does that mean for Alzheimer's? Understanding the aging brain. As the brain ages, its ability to form new neuronal connections, also known as sympathetic plasticity, declines. This reduction in plasticity is linked to cognitive impairments such as memory loss and diminished learning capacity. At the cellular level, this decline is often associated with decreased activity in the mechanics target of rapiamism, rapiamycin, RAPAMYCIN.
You lost me.
Rapamycin pathway. The MTOR, we'll just call it that. The MTOR pathways plays a critical role in regulating cell growth, metabolism, and aging. While reducing the MTOR, activity can be beneficial to some parts of the body, such as the case of caloric restriction and intense physical activity. It has the opposite effect on the brain, where reduced MTOR activity can accelerate cognitive decline. The University of Bonn research sought to address the dilemma. By administering low doses of THC over a prolonged period, they observed that the compound could stimulate MTOR activity in the brain, leading to an increase in synaptic protein production and the formation of new neuronal connections. In aging mice, these effects were profound. Cognitive function was restored to levels typically seen in much younger animals. The dual effect of THC on aging. The most fascinating aspect of this study is the dual effect THC had on the body. While MTOR activity increased in the brain, enhancing cognitive function, the researchers observed a reduction in MTOR activity in the fat tissue of other peripheral systems. The reduction mimicked the effects of caloric restrictions to intensive exercise, both of which are known to promote longevity by improving metabolic health. In essence, THC appeared to have two-pronged effect, enhancing brain function while also promoting anti-aging effects in the body. This dual action of THC provides a unique opportunity to develop anti-aging therapies that target both cognitive decline and metabolic aging. The researchers hypothesized that this tissue-specific modulation of the MTOR activity could be the basis of creating an effective anti-aging drug capable of improving both brain health and overall longevity. Reverse cognitive decline, implications for Alzheimer's disease. The potential of THC reverse anti-aging cognitive decline has important implications for disease like Alzheimer's and dementia. These neurodegenerative conditions are characterized by the progressive loss of neural connections in sympathetic plasticity. Given THC's ability to enhance synaptic density, researchers speculate that it could be used to slow down or even reverse the effects of these diseases. While current treatment for Alzheimer's focuses primarily on slowing progression, THC-based therapies might offer a way to restore cognitive function to patients, potentially improving the quality of life. Additionally, the anti-inflammatory process of cannabis, particularly CBD, have shown promise in reducing neuroinflammation, which is a key contributor to Alzheimer's pathology. Combining THC cognitive benefits with CBD anti-inflammatory effects could offer a multifaceted approach to treating neurodegenerative disease. The broader implications of THC research. Beyond the potential to treat neurodegenerative disease, the discovery of THC can reverse brain aging raises broader questions about the future of cognitive health. As the global population ages, cognitive decline and disease like Alzheimer's are expected to become more prevalent. Developing therapies that target the underlying cause of brain aging could have a profound impact on public health. In particular, the ability of THC to enhance mTOR activity and promote synthetic plasticity offers new hope in maintaining cognitive function into old age. The researchers could pave the way for development and preventative treatments and help people retain the mental acuity as they age, potentially delaying the onset of cognitive decline. Looking ahead, future research in human trials. The promising results from the University of Bonn study have paved the way for further research and therapeutic applications of THC for aging populations. Future studies will need to focus on conducting human trials to determine whether the cognitive benefits observed in mice can be replicated in humans. Researchers are also exploring the potential for combination therapies that utilize both THC and CBD to maximize therapeutic outcomes. Additionally, scientists are investigating other cannabinoids found in the cannabis plant, such as CBG. They should also check out CBC, because that's the stuff that gives you overall brain health, which has shown potential in reducing anxiety and improving memory without psychoactive effects of THC. As our understanding of the cannabinoid system continues to grow, new therapeutic compounds may emerge, offering even more opportunities to combat the brain aging and cognitive decline. The discovery of that THC can reverse brain aging offers an exciting glimpse into the future of anti-aging therapies. By enhancing sympathetic plasticity and promoting cognitive health, THC could revolutionize the way we treat age-related cognitive decline and neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. However, more research is needed to fully understand long-term effects and potential risk of THC use in humans. In future studies confirm these findings, THC-based treatments could provide a safe and effective method for reversing brain aging, improving quality of life for millions of people around the world.
That's very cool.
Terps.
Yeah.
Do terpenes contribute to medical marijuana entourage effect?
Well, a new study says it is plausible. A review of research into the synergistic effects of chemical components in medical marijuana, an idea commonly known as the entourage effect, says that terpenes, popularly credited with modulating the experience of cannabis, may indeed be influencers in the therapeutic benefits of cannabinoids, though for now that influence remains unproven. The literature review, published this month on the academic website preprints.org by university researchers in Portugal, notes that initial research into some terpenes is promising, but it encourages further clinical trials to confirm these constituents' individual and combined effects. Authors said two questions guided the review. What are the physiological effects of terpenes and terpenoids found in cannabis? And what are the proven entourage effects of terpenes in cannabis? The paper details a number of preliminary findings around the therapeutic benefits of individual cannabinoids on a range of ailments. Exploratory evidence, it notes, citing earlier studies, suggests various therapeutic benefits of terpenes, such as myrcene for relaxing, linalool as sleep aid, exhaustion relief, and mental stress aid, D-limonene as an analgesic, carophyllene for cold tolerance and analgesia. Valencine for cartilage protection, borneol for anti-nociceptive and anticonvulsant potential, and eucalyptol for muscle pain. The study also notes that while myrcene demonstrated anti-inflammatory properties topically, it appeared the terpene offered no additional anti-inflammatory effect when combined with the cannabinoid CBD. However, the study doesn't settle on the ultimate role of terpenes in the so-called entourage effect. Up to date, no reliable scientific evidence of this synergy exists, at least at the cannabinoid receptor level, the report says. Nonetheless, it would be premature to deny the existence of either pharmacodynamic or pharmacokinetic interactions among active compounds present in cannabis, as many biological activities have been attributed to its terpenes, including analgesic, anti-inflammatory, and anxiolytic properties. Authors wrote the entourage effect appears plausible, particularly when considering minor phytocannabinoids, monoterpenes, sesquiterpenes, and sesquiterpenoids. However, the practical application of this effect is complicated by several factors, they added, including variability in the levels of minor secondary metabolites across different cannabis preparations, the often limited scope of analytical methods used, and the low bioavailability of many of these components of interest. The manuscript notes that these obstacles are common with many herbal medicines, and without a clear understanding of the key active ingredients, it's very difficult to produce reliable products with a consistent level of these constituents. In conclusion, while current research suggests a potential overlap in therapeutic benefits between cannabinoids and terpenes as influencers, the hypothesis that these effects are additive or synergistic remain unproven, it says. Further research is expected to understand which factors may enhance cannabinoid efficacy in an additive or synergistic manner. The latest research also comes as scientists come to better understand the roles and interactions between cannabinoids and other chemical components of cannabis, such as terpenes. A separate study, for example, published earlier this year in the International Journal of Molecular Sciences, said that the complex interaction between phytocannabinoids and biological systems offers hope for novel treatment approaches, potentially laying the groundwork for a new era of innovation in cannabis-based medicines. The plant cannabis exhibits an effect called the entourage effect, in which the combined actions of terpenes and phytocannabinoids results in effects that exceed the sum of their separate contributions, that study found. This synergy emphasizes how important it is to consider the entire plant when utilizing cannabinoids medicinally, as opposed to just concentrating on individual cannabinoids. A federally funded study published in May, meanwhile, found that terpenes could be potential therapeutics for chronic neuropathic pain, finding that an injected dose of the compound produced a roughly equal reduction in pain markers when compared to a smaller dose of morphine. Terpenes also appeared to enhance the efficacy of morphine when given in combination. Unlike with morphine, however, none of the studied terpenes produced a meaningful reward response. That research found, indicating that terpenes could be effective analgesics with no rewarding or dysphoric side effects. Other recent research funded by the National Institute on Drug Abuse found the citrusy-smelling terpene in cannabis, D-limonene, can help ease anxiety and paranoia associated with THC. Researchers similarly said that the finding could help unlock the maximum therapeutic benefits of THC. A separate study last year found that cannabis products with a more diverse array of natural cannabinoids produce stronger psychoactive experiences in adults, which also lasted longer than the high generated by pure THC. And a 2018 study found that patients suffering from epilepsy experience better health outcomes with fewer adverse side effects when they use plant-based CBD extracts compared to purified CBD products. Scientists last year also discovered previously unidentified cannabis compounds called flavorants that they believe are responsible for the unique aromas of different varieties of cannabis. Previously, many had thought terpenes alone were responsible for various smells produced by the plant. So, lots of information.
Terps. We're 50.
Yeah, we are.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
More than 20% of older adults have used pot in the past year. Why over 50s are curious about cannabis? Now, I know why a lot of people are curious about cannabis nowadays, because it's legal in a lot of states or medical in some states, so it gives them they can go and buy it from a store now instead of like not knowing where to get it or not wanting to buy it from a plug. So the over 50 now can go to a store, a shop, and buy their cannabis legally. It makes them feel more comfortable, the 50 and overs. Two, this is just me thinking out loud, why the over 50s, especially the boomers, a lot of them smoked weed in the 60s and 70s. You know, now they're done. They're retired from their profession. Maybe their job wouldn't allow them. Maybe they were union workers. Maybe they were, maybe they were professionals that drug tested at their place and they could never smoke. And now that they're retired, why the fuck not? Go back to what you did in college or when you were younger and you liked weed, you just hadn't fucking been able to smoke it in 30, 40 years. Now you're like, I don't really want to drink anymore. But I can smoke for pain relief. I could smoke for ailments. I could smoke to relax. That's what most people like to smoke. I could smoke to enjoy socially. I can, I'm retired. I'm going to go sit on the beach and smoke a joint and, or eat an edible or, use my tinctures, whatever. They're learning more and more that they don't need medication when they can use something else to take away that medication. We were talking about this yesterday we saw a commercial and you turned to me and said, how come fucking every medication that you see on TV gives you all these other ailments that the one it's supposed to fix? But the crazy one we saw yesterday was this ailment that this medication was supposed to help actually gave you the ailment again.
Yes. Yes. So it was an advertisement for something that sounds like, wow, what a game changer. It's for people with food allergies, like anaphylaxis food allergies, that they can take this medication like once a week or once every other week, and they could potentially go sit in a public space and eat food, and someone could have a peanut butter and jelly next to them, and they're not going to go into anaphylaxis. Right. Like, holy shit, that's a game changer. So the spiel, and then at the end they're like, and so, this can cause this. So it can cause, the medication can cause anaphylaxis. I was like, what the fuck? So we're going to give you a medication to treat your anaphylaxis that might give you anaphylaxis.
When you said, did you just hear that commercial? I said, yeah, that was weird. Did they just say what I thought they said? Like, you're taking a medicine to stop anaphylaxis.
Why is that
then it's going to give you...
Why is that okay? Or like the depression medications that can cause depression and suicide. Like, what? I don't get it.
It's so nuts.
I don't get it.
It's so nuts. So with the over 50 crowd that might have to take a medication for an ailment, might not need to take that medication because they can use cannabis, right?
Yeah. Not for anaphylaxis.
No, but you know what I'm saying.
Yes.
So more than 1 in 5 people aged 50 and older have used cannabis at least once in the past year, a new survey reveals. And most of them smoke, consume, or vape cannabis products once or twice a month, they told University of Michigan researchers. What the survey found, of the 21% of older Americans using cannabis, most do so at least once a month. According to a national poll of nearly 3,400 people, age 50 and up, that's a significant increase from 2023, when just 12% of people 50 to 80 years old said they used THC-containing products in the past year, and 5% said they use cannabis once a month or less, according to the last iteration of the survey. According to the survey, most people use multiple forms of cannabis, chiefly consuming edibles or drinkable forms and smoking it, and partake far more than one purpose. More than 80% said they use pot to relax. What did I say? Most people use it to relax. 68% take it to help them sleep. 63% say cannabis is a form of pain relief. For 53% of the respondents, cannabis is a mental health and mood booster, while another 64% simply said that using cannabis feels good. So I'm over 50, and every single one of those, I'm in. I use it for all of it. You know what I'm saying? Every single one they just listed. So would that make me?
You want some more?
Would that make me 100%?
You're just all in. All in.
Wouldn't you say though too? All
Yes,
those that they listed?
Like, if it was multiple choice, I had circled D, all of the above.
All of the above. Oh, crazy. Why have older Americans become cannabis curious? Aaron Bonner, who co-authored the report on the survey findings, tells Yahoo Life that the past is one thing driving present cannabis use for a younger portion of older Americans. Older adults who are aging into the stage of life are people who may have used cannabis when they were younger, as it was more popular on a social or a party drug, explains Barnard, University of Michigan professor of psychiatry, psychiatry and addiction, right? Did they say that? Psychiatry. I'm fucking stoned. Psychiatry, psychiatry.
Well, yeah, maybe they have a side charity.
Maybe that's a new word.
We should all have a side charity. I got a side charity.
Plus, I can't see it. My eye keeps on watering too. So, now cannabis is more widely legal and acceptable. A University of Iowa professor of health and management and policy, who also studies older people pot use, tells that amid cannabis legalization, compounded with aches and pains that some come with age, may be responsive to that and using it more. There are also some evidence that cannabis may be helpful for some conditions with older adults. That's awesome. Alternatives to opioid. In many cases, older people offered a choice between opioids or cannabis for pain will choose cannabis all the time. That's great. A lot of people are scared to start a prescription regimen of opioids. Yeah, fuck it. Why do you want to get addicted to that shit for, you know? Stronger weed may bring some risk for older people. It's not your weed from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. It's not. Early 90s, okay? Everything today is 18% to 47% THC that you see, and then you have all your infused stuff too. Then you have your all your different types of concentrates. Listen, we've said this before and we'll say it again. Start low and go slow. Ask your bud tenders, do your research, okay? That side charity thing will help you out big time too, so ask that side charity too, like what you need. So just get used to what you used to do, but don't think you could smoke a whole joint by yourself like you used to do. Learn, research, reach out to Mr. and Mrs. Weedman. We have that booklet now we can send you too. Someone actually just emailed me about it, so I sent it to him. A new listener out of listen to the last episode 223, the handbook. Yeah, the little booklet. So and I sent it to him, and please, we're here to help you on this. So we want to make sure you're educated and you learn all the things you want to know about cannabis to help you out. So tips for safer use. Don't drive high if you're not used to it. Okay? Especially if you're not used to it. Okay? You shouldn't drive high at all, but if you do, don't do it right away. Well, we were just talking about, like, people are getting pulled over now for driving the speed limit.
Slow.
Driving too slow. Which isn't a bad thing, but you are driving too slow. So make sure you talk to your doctor, too. Because if you're taking some medications, you have to make sure it doesn't fuck up the medication you're taking, too, unfortunately. So make sure you talk to your doctor.
With some discretion.
Yes.
I mean, talk to your doctor.
Thank you.
Actually talk to a pharmacist.
Yeah.
They'd probably know more about the interaction.
Actually, you've talked to your pharmacist
I talked to my pharmacist.
And you don't talk to about your doctor.
And you can talk to the manufacturer of the medication that you're using and ask them, because doctors will dispute with, well, it's not FDA approved and you don't know what's in it. So it's very hard to find doctors that are like, yes. So make sure you talk to them and just ask questions, also sit back and relax and enjoy the high. Oh, yeah.
You're not going to die. Just, you might get a little too high. You might eat too much of an edible. Remember, edibles are the doomsday for most people when they start using it, because they take one and all of a sudden they don't think it's working, and 2 hours later you eat another one, and now you're up to 20 milligrams because you ate 10 milligrams again.
You're feeling
You're going to feel really high.
terrible.
Yeah, you're going to feel really high. You're going to feel like you have a bad hangover.
You're going to hate it.
Yeah. So half and wait 3 hours. You can always take more. You can never go back, right? I always say, you can always move forward. You can never go back.
I find, too, that a lot of people that are new to consumption, especially with an edible, when is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? Sometimes they don't even realize that they're high because it is like they're at the right dose and it's good. And it's like one of my sisters is always like, I'm not high. I'm not high. I'm not high. I'm like, oh, yes, you are. And it's a really good thing because she like chills. She just is at like a different level of, she really enjoys herself. When she has a little bit of weed, she just lets loose and she's not overthinking the room. She's not overreading people. She's just enjoying herself. And I love it. But she thinks she's not high. And I'm like, oh, you are, sister.
Yeah.
You are.
Oh, yeah.
And
I've caught it too. I've caught it
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So listen to.
So some people don't realize like they're already benefiting from it. Like their body likes it and it's working for them. And so again, that can be dangerous though, because then they may take another edible and then they're at that point of no return and they hate it.
Yes.
And then they don't want to do it again. So just give yourself time. You got to learn what you're feeling and you have to learn to recognize the different ways that you feel because
and
different
waves that you're gonna feel.
The high comes and goes, it peaks, and then you think it's gone. Sometimes it comes back, and that's even with smoking.
Yeah,
you can feel very clear-minded, and then 15 minutes later, you're like, "Ooh, I'm stoned."
Yep.
Your body's digesting it, it's processing it, so it does different things, and different strains give you completely different effects.
And not every strain will work for the same.
For everybody.
It will not. Right. What Mrs. Weedman experiences on something she smokes is going to be different from something that I smoke.
Yeah. So there's so much to learn about how you feel being high I think that it's just so important to go completely low dose on everything that you do until you really learn to understand it. Mm-hmm.
100%.
I think you'll have a much better experience.
For all you 50s and ups, talk to your kids. Grandparents, talk to your kids. Parents, talk to your kids if you're getting into it. Mm-hmm. They might have experimented. They might know. They might use it every day. They might be in their 30s and been smoking weed and you didn't even know it. Mm-hmm. Listen to me. This is nothing to be ashamed about. This is nothing to be afraid about. This is about the stigma that was put in your brains for so long that now you know it's not wrong, and you want to try it out.
But you still feel like someone's going to make you feel bad about it,
right? And
you're
really,
curious, but you're afraid of what other people will say.
Oh yeah, and
guess
literally,
what? They probably want to smoke it too.
There's 200. Yeah, there's 220.
Really, I mean,
there's 220 million cannabis users in the world.
Yeah, you're not alone.
Right, you're not alone.
And you're not a weirdo if you use it, and you're not a drug addict. Remember when I used to say, "Oh, I hate when you say that you're high." It sounds like you're such a drug addict. But also coming from like, yeah, I mean, it just had more of like
because the DARE program and all, if this is your brain on drugs if you're high.
And I watch that stupid show Intervention all the time, and they like the people are on meth and crack, and they're doing serious shit.
There was nothing
They're
about
high.
They never followed anybody around somebody who was addicted to weed on that show.
No,
Intervention.
I didn't.
You're here for what? Weed? Get the fuck out of here.
Nobody was ever, no.
What was that show, Half Baked? When Chappelle went to rehab, when he went to AA, and he was like, "I'm here for weed," and the guy got up like, "What? You're here for weed? You ever suck beep for cocaine?" And I was like,
like, dude, you don't need to be here.
Like, get the fuck. They beat him off the stage. But listen, stay at home the first few times.
Yeah.
Invite a friend over that is a casual user with you to help, or invite a few people over that
want to try it,
right?
Or have somebody there that like totally understands weed, like knows how to roll a joint or not, whatever. But someone who's been using it for a long time
that can get you through the feelings because they've been through it all, thousands of times. The first time,
put on like some good music,
and your first.
And
if you've never done weed before, just remember you only get to do weed for once. like try it once for the first time.
Is only
once.
One time.
So remember that. I still remember I still remember my first time.
I don't think I do.
My cousin Lynette, God rest her soul, 13 years old. I mean, I held that weed in my mouth at 8, but I didn't get any. But 13 was that first experience of getting high. And I've smelled it and seen it, so many times, but that was the first. It was me and her, and she passed that joint over to me, and I hit that thing, and I didn't feel anything at first, and we passed it back and forth, and 15 minutes later, we were both fucking on the floor,
just laughing.
Laughing, but eating s'mores cereal.
Yeah.
Remember s'mores cereal? That shit was the best. And we were sitting there, ate our whole family, all of our families were upstairs because we were going away party. We were moving to Florida. And we were down there fucking stoned and eating s'mores crunch. Remember s'mores crunch?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Fucking sit there and eat a whole box of that for breakfast. And we were laughing hysterical. Then it was just, I'll never forget my first time. That is. Remember, you'll never get one of those again.
I have some standout times, but I can't recall my first.
I do. That's okay.
Yeah, I think like freshman year of high school.
Sweet.
Or like summer.
Must not have been that memorable then.
Remember driving to a dance, like a Friday night mixer at my high school, and we were lighting it up, and this was like mall bang era.
What'd you call them? Friday night mix?
They were mixers, the Catholic boys' school and the Catholic girls' school would have a dance.
I went to all,
and nobody would dance.
Co-ed.
Yeah, well, I did it.
Saturday mixer.
And so we had our mall bangs, and someone's mall bangs she was like leaning over the back seat of the car to the two of us up front, and we were like sharing a bowl. And we're like, your bangs are on fire.
I'm sure someone listening out there,
down like a
it happened to their
road.
Mall bangs. I'm sure somebody out there, they got their bangs burned too. It was like a dark road,
and all you could see were her bangs on fire.
Did she still go to the mixer?
Oh, yeah. We climbed out the window to leave because you couldn't leave before they were over. And we're like, fuck this. Let's get out of here.
All right. First and foremost, everybody down in the Southeast has been affected by Hurricane Helene. We pray for you. We pray for your safety. We pray for your health. We pray for you and your families. And hopefully you haven't lost any loved ones and you're just trying to make it right now. And hopefully help is coming soon. It was terrible, devastating. I mean, and we're praying for you. So, but I'm saying that because we've talked about weed waste a lot of times on the show and how much plastic waste and everything that the cannabis industry is not supposed to be about. And we do it anyway. So we're just adding to what's going on right now. Global warming
from all of our consumption and waste.
Yes. And
consumer waste.
Yes. And flagellants. A lot of flagellants from those cows.
Yeah.
But we're also ruining
methane.
We're ruining our forestry. We're ruining, South Brazil has had the worst droughts in history. And they're supposed to be tropics, and because of so much over farming, down there, and so much taking away the Amazon, where it's a life. Our oxygen, a lot of our oxygen comes from there. So it's just, our
world is shifting.
Yes, and we need to do better in protecting this planet because it's only got one, and this is it. It ain't going anywhere else. So we only got one. So tell us about weed waste is wrecking the planet, but there's an alternative.
Yes, there is an alternative.
Tell us about it, Ms. Weedman.
Yes, there is no getting past it. The cannabis industry creates a lot of waste. From seed to sale, gobs of garbage enters landfills by way of weed. On the consumer end, packaging is a real nuisance, and much of it is not recyclable. When something is not recyclable, it's time to figure out how to reuse it. Those who bring home lots of dispensary goodies have surely watched the little eighth jars and Mylar bags stack up. It is unlucky that much of this packaging is not biodegradable. But there's a little magic about it. You can reuse your cannabis packaging. Many jars, bags, and other containers used to package cannabis products are also useful around the house. Cannabis flower or buds often come in packages such as glass jars, which keep them fresher than bags or boxes. Many have a plastic lid, while others have aluminum or a cork. Once the vessels are finished carrying weed, they are useful storage tools in the kitchen, bathroom, and garage. Not all of the jars are airtight, but some are. Save the airtight ones for kitchen and bathroom. Those who make skincare products at home will love the jars for exfoliating scrubs and masks. As for the kitchen, the jars are an obvious choice for refilling in the bulk spice aisle. Local natural grocers often have bulk sections where customers can fill containers with spices, flour, coffee beans, and more. This is an ideal place for reusing cannabis jars. Non-airtight jars are suitable for storing screws and nails of various sizes and shapes in your toolbox. Joints often come in plastic cylinders with tightly shutting lids called doob tubes, and they can be repurposed in many ways, like easy travel storage for small items like ibuprofen, toothpaste tablets, vitamins, and even dog treats while on a training walk. Those who like to get cooking on a camping trip can mix spice rubs into them for easy seasoning. That's smart. Collect beach sand or small shells on a vacation in them, or use them to hold purse crayons for bored kids. There are endless uses for doob tubes. Just use your imagination. Wax, live resin, and other concentrates often come in small, hard containers similar to what you'd find lip balm in. Those who make their own balms and salves might consider reusing these for their products. Crafters may appreciate keeping glitter, beads, or bedazzling gems in them too. These small containers also serve as a great cannabis seed storage. Just remember to keep it in the correct light and temperature to preserve them. Dab tubs are a lovely size for storing grinder keef, too. They also work wonders as ISO containers. Those who vape concentrates daily may find themselves dipping a cotton swab into a big isopropyl alcohol container in an attempt to keep the dab chamber clean. Instead of regularly shoving fingers and swabs into a small bottle in hopes of capturing some cleaner, pour a small bit into an old dab container and swab it from there. It can be sealed up when not in use and opened as needed. This may eventually serve as an essential part of your dab station. Mylar bags may be the hardest piece of cannabis packaging to repurpose, but it is possible. One excellent way to use Mylar bags is as a small, sealable trash bag. Take them on hikes and pick up little pieces of garbage along the way. This act of environmental kindness takes some of the sting out of putting the Mylar into a landfill. Clean your Mylar bags, and they can be great for traveling rollies. Roll a few up at home and keep them in the bag. Just remember not to put it in your pocket because it's not firm, so you'll squash them or bend them. Unfortunately, there is just no getting around cannabis packaging waste when shopping in most legal weed industries. One way to offset the garbage is to find inventive uses for the bags, jars, and containers that tend to pile up after unpackaging your dispensary order. Whether they grace the spice rack, get utilized in a dab station, or help keep trash off of the trail, there is more life left in your weed waste. Before tossing Mylar and glass jars, see if there's another way to use them around the house or workspace, your garage, or your garden.
I always use my jars. If someone gives me an eighth of weed or something like that, or I buy something, I always give my home grower. I put a couple nugs for somebody, give them that jar.
Yeah,
and reuse that way too. So I try not to use. It's just tough, the Mylar bags. I mean, how many gummies we go through? It's kind of hard to reuse those Mylar bags.
And they're small.
Yeah,
they're
it is tough. I'm not a fan.
And the Ziploc usually breaks
of
when
throwing those out. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough to what am I going to do with them all? We go through a package of gummies a week. Yeah. Maybe more. There are some companies though that do biodegradable packaging now, reusable packaging, not reusable, but repurposed packaging too. You see, I hope we can get better because what's going on right now in the world, not just what happened in the Southeast, is terrible, but across the world with global warming. It's not good for our grandkids and our great grandkids and anybody coming next.
And it's affecting really everywhere. I mean, look at sharks are coming closer to land and changing their behaviors. So there's your warm waters.
The fish patterns right now are crazy.
And then in the polar opposite, the polar bears are running out of ice.
Right.
So it's like
they can't
hot
get their
waters.
food.
It's just, it's bad.
Yeah, it's bad out there. So just we love y'all out there, and just got to be conscious and do better. If we can do our part some way, somehow. Are we
so
all
many
perfect?
little
No.
things that you can modify in your life
Yeah. Just
that make
little,
a big difference if we all did it.
Yeah. There's been a lot of jokes about this on social media about like when people talk about THCA all the time, going, "Oh, my THCA is so strong," and people are like, "I'm so high off of THCA," and also to the difference between Delta 9 versus THC. And people don't know the difference. A lot of people don't know the difference.
It's confusing.
It is, and this is a little long. But hopefully, and I cut out a portion of it too. So just to keep it short, it was stuff that really didn't explain what this is. But I think it's going to help a little bit if you don't understand the difference between the two, because they're hemp-derived Delta 9, and then there's the regular THC from the cannabis sativa plant, but they're Delta 9, just coming from a different species of plant, basically, in a nutshell. But there is some differences, though. And there's some uses, and there's some effects, and there's some legality, too, in all of it. So let's go. Delta 9 THC is the primary psychoactive compound found in cannabis, often simply referred to it as THC. While both Delta 9 and other forms of THC share similar chemical structures, they differ in the double bond placements, which significantly influences their potency and effects. Delta 9 THC is the most prevalent and extensively researched cannabinoid, making it well known for its intense psychoactive properties. However, with the rise of various THC forms, consumers are exploring alternative cannabinoids for different experiences and benefits. Let's delve into the differences, shall we, Mrs. Weedman? Let's delve into the Delta 9 THC forms, focuses on the use, effects, safety, and legal status. Types of THC, but also what is THC, okay? THC, short for tetrahydrocannabinol. I said that better than Cy Charity, is the main psychoactive compound found in cannabis. When consumed, THC interacts with the body's endocannabinoid system, particularly the CB1 receptors in the brain, leading to well-known high sensation. This interaction doesn't cause euphoria. It can also result in changes to mood, perception, and cognition. In addition to the psychoactive properties, THC offers potential therapeutic benefits. It can help manage pain, reduce inflammation, stimulate appetite, and alleviate symptoms of certain medical conditions like multiple sclerosis and chronic pain. My nose is all of a sudden got stuffed up. All day, my eyes were tearing all day. I think it's allergies. There's something going on. Is that ragweed running around ragged right now? Something. Sorry, everybody. Types of THC. Delta 9 THC is the most well-known and widely used form of THC. It's the compound most commonly associated with cannabis psychoactive effects. When you think of THC, Delta 9 is likely what comes to mind. Known for its potency, Delta 9 delivers a strong and euphoric high, making it popular among recreational users. However, it also has medical benefits such as pain relief, appetite stimulation. Delta 8, not synthetically. We're talking about what comes from the plant, because small traces of Delta 8 you can get out of the plant. So I'm talking about the plant here. Is Delta 8 THC, which has gained popularity for milder effects compared to Delta 9. If you seek a more balanced and less intense high, Delta 8 might be the right choice. Not synthetic. Stay away from it. Look for it that comes from the plant. It's known for providing relaxation and stress relief without overwhelming psychoactive effects. Plus, Delta 8 is often touted to be the potentially to reduce anxiety and nausea, making it a favorite among those looking for a therapeutic benefit without the strong high. Then there's Delta 10. Is a newer addition to the THC family, and it's quickly making its name for itself. Users often describe Delta 10 as offering an uplifting and energizing high. Make it perfect for daytime users. If you're looking for a boost in creativity or motivation, Delta 10 could be your go-to option. Its effects are typically less intense than Delta 9, yet more stimulating than Delta 8, striking a unique balance that may find appealing. It'd be great to get a strain that can grow Delta 9, Delta 8, and Delta 10 and be able to get all three. That'd be nice, or get Delta 8 and Delta 10 in there, or maybe get Delta 9 and Delta 10. But I know Delta 10 is synthetically made also. So please, just if you don't know what's in that synthetic stuff being made, don't take
flour
it.
is okay. That's they're not spraying anything on it. The flour's fine.
Yes.
It's just when you're getting an edible or a vape.
A tincture too.
Yeah, tinctures.
Make sure it's not coming synthetically. Especially a lot of it's from the vapes, THC chemical structure and properties. The chemical form of THC is C21H30O2, indicating it consists of 21 carbon atoms, 30 hydro atoms, and 2 oxygen atoms. Its molecular structure includes triglycerate, 21 carbon structure with pentanol side chain. The specific arrangement of those atoms gives THC unique properties, allowing it to bind effectively to the cannabinoid receptors in the brain and other parts of the body. This binding is what causes THC psychoactive effects. By mimicking the action of anandamide, a naturally occurring neurotransmitter in the brain, THC influences various psychological processes, including pleasure, memory, thinking, concentration, movement, coordination, and sensory and time perception. Due to the litholic nature, THC easily crosses the blood-brain barrier and accumulates in fatty tissue, where it can remain for days or even weeks after consumption. THC legal status and regulations. The legal status of THC varies widely around the world and even within countries. In some places, THC is fully legal for both medical and recreational use, while in others it remains strictly prohibited. In the United States, for instance, THC is classified as Schedule I controlled substance at the federal level, meaning it is considered to have a high potential for abuse and no accepted medical use. However, several states have legalized THC for medical or recreational use, creating a complex legal landscape. In countries like Canada and Uruguay, THC is legal for both medical and recreational purposes, with regulations in place to control its production, distribution, and consumption. European countries vary, with some allowing medical use under strict conditions and others decriminalizing possession but not legalizing sale. Real quick sip of water.
I'm sitting here thinking about. I want to know if there are studies done that have seen the brain activity while you're high.
I think there was. I think we've read
I
some
want to
articles
know
about that.
what the brain is doing.
You should look that up, Mrs. Weedman.
I'm gonna.
What is Delta-9 THC? Delta-9 THC, short for Delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol, is the most well-known and researched cannabinoid found in cannabis plant. It is the primary psychoactive compound responsible for the high. Okay. Properties of Delta-9 THC, known for its distinctive psychoactive effects, stands out due to unique properties. First and foremost, its ability to bind to CB1 receptors in the brain significantly impacts your mood, perception, and cognition. The interaction not only produces a well-known high, but also offers therapeutic benefits. Consequently, its effects can last longer compared to other substances. When you consume Delta-9, whether by smoking, vaping, ingesting edibles, the onset and duration of effects can vary. Smoking or vaping typically leads to quicker effects, often felt within minutes, while edibles take longer to kick in, but offer a prolonged experience. Moreover, Delta-9 THC's chemical structure plays a crucial role in its properties. The presence of double bond in the 9th carbon atom differentiates it from THC isomers. The small structural difference makes Delta-9 THC more potent and more likely to bind effectively with the CB1 receptors. And we've talked about this in the past. It's just great to review it, though, because every time I read more, Mrs. Weedman learns more. How Delta-9 THC differs from other types of THC. Delta-9 THC stands out among other types of THC primarily due to its distinct chemical structure resulting effects. The double bond at the 9th carbon atom and Delta-9 THC structure makes it more potent and psychoactive compared to the counterparts like Delta-8 and Delta-10. While all these cannabinoids interact with the body's endocannabinoid system, Delta-9 THC binds more effectively to CB1 receptors in the brain, producing a stronger euphoric effect. In contrast, Delta-8 THC, which is a double bond at the 8th carbon atom, tends to be less potent and may provide a milder high, potentially with fewer side effects. Delta-10 THC, also less common, also offers a different experience, often described as more uplifting and energizing. Sources of Delta-9 THC: hemp versus marijuana. This is what we were talking about earlier. Mm-hmm. Delta-9 THC can be derived from both hemp and marijuana, but there are key differences between these sources. Marijuana, a variety of the cannabis sativa plant, naturally contains higher concentration of Delta-9 THC, often ranging from 10 to 30% by dry weight. This makes it a more potent source of producing products with significant psychoactive effects. On the other hand, hemp, which is legally defined as cannabis containing less than 0.3% Delta-9 THC by dry weight, is typically grown for its fibers, seeds, and CBD content. Despite the low THC levels in hemp, advancements in extraction and processing technologies have enabled producers to isolate and concentrate Delta-9 THC from the hemp plants. Does that...
Gosh, how much they'd have to use, though, right?
But does that answer your question?
Yeah, I knew that, but...
Okay. It's important to consider legal status in your region. Wait, did I miss a spot? Oh, from hemp.
But they would have to extract it from the plant.
They are.
You couldn't just smoke a bud and have a high concentration of THC.
You'll have a high concentration of CBD.
Right. Not Delta 9.
Only 0.3% and dry weight.
Right.
So this is making it possible to create THC products under certain regulatory frameworks. When choosing between hemp-derived and marijuana-derived Delta-9 THC products, it's important to consider the legal status in your region and desired potency as an intended use. Marijuana-derived products are generally more potent, widely used for both recreational and medical purposes in areas that are legal. Hemp-derived products, however, offer a legal alternative in regions with stricter marijuana regulations, providing access to Delta-9 THC while complying with legal limits. Does that kind of help answer what people are confused about, possibly?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a little more. What is the difference between hemp and marijuana? Hemp and marijuana both come from the medical cannabis sativa plant species, but they have a distinct differences. Primarily, the distinction lies in the THC content. Hemp is legally defined as cannabis containing less than 0.3 Delta-9 THC by dry weight, which means it doesn't produce psychoactive effects. In contrast, marijuana contains higher levels of Delta-9 THC, often ranging from 10 to 30%, making it psychoactive and capable of producing the well-known high. Another difference involves their uses in cultivation. Hemp is typically grown for fibers and CBD content, like I said, finding its way into produce like textiles, food, and wellness supplements. Marijuana, on the other hand, is cultivated primarily for its buds, rich in cannabinoids for both recreational and medical purposes. Are Delta-9 and THC the same thing? When people refer to THC, they're usually talking about Delta-9 THC. Delta-9 THC is the most common and well-known form of tetrahydrocannabinol, responsible for the majority of the psychoactive effects associated with cannabis. While there are other forms, such as Delta-8, Delta-10 THC, Delta-9 is the most prevalent and potent in the cannabis plant. So when you hear THC, it generally refers to Delta-9 unless otherwise specified. Are Delta-9 and Delta-9 and THC the same? Yes. Delta-9 and THC are often used interchangeably. Delta-9 THC is the most common and well-known form of THC and primarily psychoactive compound in cannabis. When people refer to THC, they're typically talking about Delta-9 unless another form is specified. Okay? Is Delta-9 the strongest form of THC? Delta-9 THC is one of the most potent forms of THC available in cannabis. Its strong psychoactive effects are due to its ability to bind effectively to CB1 receptors in the brain. While other forms like Delta-8 and 10 exist, they are generally less potent and produce milder psychoactive effects compared to Delta-9 THC. Okay? Another question. How much Delta-9 gets you high? For beginners, even a small dose of 2.5 to 5 milligrams of Delta-9 THC can induce noticeable effects. Regular users might require higher doses to achieve the same level of euphoria. Always start with low doses to gauge your tolerance and avoid potential side effects. So all you 50 and ups, you need to listen to this segment part right here. This right here. In Delta-9 legal in all 50 states, Delta-9 THC is not legal in all 50 states. Federally, it's classified as Schedule I controlled substance, which means it's illegal under federal law. However, many states have legalized Delta-9 THC for medical or recreational purposes use. Hemp-derived Delta-9 THC, which contains less than 0.3% THC by dry weight, is legal under the 2018 Farm Bill, but state laws can vary. Always check your local regulations to ensure compliance with the law. Final thoughts. Both Delta-9 THC and other forms of THC can offer potential benefits for mental and physical well-being, but individual experiences may vary. It's crucial to understand the difference and similarities between these cannabinoids and their potential effects before making a choice. Ensure you purchase products from reputable online retailers and make sure you're looking at their COAs. Okay? Additionally, seeking advice from healthcare professionals can help make informed decisions about cannabinoid use. Take care and enjoy your exploration in the world of THC. Cannabis could change everything you know about social justice. Tell us about it, Mrs. Weedman.
I will, but before that, I'll just say that our favorite animal is sitting by... Well, oh my God, what if our bird heard me? I just don't want to say her name because she'll pop up. But our dog is sleeping here by my feet, and her tail was just wagging on the floor. She's having good doggy dreams.
That dog was outside today again. The weather's been so beautiful. She does not want to come in the house. We have to literally drag her in.
Yeah.
She just sits out in the yard, just stares and looks for squirrels, and just loves life.
And
Crazy.
watches. You'll like see her. She'll come to the window.
Yeah,
and check on us. All right. Cannabis could change everything you know about social justice. Join us for a conversation with experts from across cannabis on how we can use the plant as an intersectional organizing and movement building tool while framing a new economy around its impacts. Cannabis has the potential to replace plastics, building materials, addictive medications, and address sustainability efforts meant to slow or reverse the damage of climate change. For that to happen, leaders, strategists, and organizers need to understand how to talk about cannabis in an intersectional framing that inspires stakeholders and decision makers to take action. Movement equals change. By definition, a movement is a group of people collaborating to advance their shared political, social, or artistic ideas. The organizing component adds strategy to the mix. It ensures that a plan has been created and the people involved in the movement are operating with it centrally in mind. The interesting thing about the cannabis plant is that historically it has been noted as assisting with artistry, aiding in breaking social barriers through the promotion of homeostasis and wellness, and politically charged both in the fight for peace and the war waged against its consumption. It was the smoothness and awareness of jazz musicians, the spirit and protest of hippies that fueled the inception of cannabis prohibition. Cannabis is all about intersections. Most of us have heard of the term social determinants of health. Even if you haven't specifically, once a discussion ensues, you understand and know it to be true. It is the acknowledgement of how one's economic stability, social and community context, living environment, health care, and education all play a role in their overall health. When we look at statistics around asthma or diabetes, you can deduce how a highway or waste site plays a part in breathing issues, or food deserts aid in poor eating habits. From there, you dig into demographics and pictures start to be painted. It is said that the idea of this concept dates back to the Industrial Revolution. Rudolf Virchow, a German physician who specialized in pathology, social medicine, and forensics, wrote, "If medicine is to fulfill her great task, then she must enter the political and social life. Do we not always find the diseases of the populace traceable to defects in society?" In this same vein, I often think about the impact of cannabis prohibition. Not only were lives lost and families destroyed, but so much harm was felt in the aftermath. Because of harsh sentencing, most convictions resulted in felony charges. And once that label is placed, second-class citizenship begins. Drug offenders are often banned from receiving public housing assistance or even residency. Securing employment is a challenge. They don't qualify for financial aid for educational advancement or the right to vote. Again, speaking to the intersections, all of these areas tie into the health of a community. They suffocate the development of a much-needed new economy. Because let's be real, the U.S. has a trade deficit. We import much more than we export. The cannabis plant has the potential to usher in a new economy and replace highly addictive and damaging medicines. We haven't begun to scratch the surface of understanding its depths. But according to a national conference of state legislators briefing in 2022, 47 states regulate the cultivation, processing, and sale of industrial hemp or cannabis products. And an estimated 6 million patients currently participate in these programs, as do some 30,000 healthcare practitioners. Based on a compilation of studies regarding the relationship between cannabis and opioids, Normal concluded that cannabis access is associated with reduced rates of opioid use and abuse, reduced rates of opioid-related hospitalizations, traffic fatalities, drug treatment admissions, and opioid-related overdose deaths. If we are as dedicated to building a successful and sustainable cannabis community, if we are ready to acknowledge the potential of the cannabis to usher us into a new economy, then we must do as Rudolph Virchow suggested and look at its full impact on life.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Political and state news. Illinois officials tout diversity in marijuana industry ownership, but many businesses have yet to become operational. Illinois officials highlight progress in diversifying cannabis industry ownership, with more licenses awarded to women and people of color than any other U.S. market. However, only 30% of the businesses with these licenses are operational. Social equity applicants, especially those impacted by the war on drugs, struggle with funding and operational challenges. Craft growers face space restrictions, while large companies dominate cultivation. Access to capital remains a significant hurdle for smaller operators, despite state efforts to offer forgivable loans. Here's something that helped, though. Here, Cook County awarded $3.6 million in grants to 40 social equity cannabis entrepreneurs. 6 craft growers, each receiving $150,000. 7 infusers, each receiving $100,000. 14 dispensaries, each receiving $75,000. 13 transporters, each receiving $75,000. And the Division of Cannabis Regulation Registration Process transition is now also going to be easier, too. You can go online. It's going to be transitioning to be able to re-register and register online for the process now, which is nice. Ohio recreational marijuana sales exceeded $76 million in less than 50 days. Wow. Record $105 million spent on Florida pot amendment but outcome is hazy. $105 million has been spent to try to get Amendment 3.
Jeez.
I mean, more than $105 million has been spent on ad campaigns. Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis differ on the ballot measure, and proponents claim Amendment 3 will generate $431 million in revenue.
Wow. They're going to need it.
Oh, yeah. 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 I think a lot of people are going to legalize it because that tax revenue is going to come in. You can do a lot of good things to help what happened down there. Denver's marijuana industry experiencing the first ever recession since legalization 11 years ago. Denver's marijuana industry faces first recession since legalization 11 years ago. I wouldn't even think, like, it's so weird to hear that, that word when it comes to cannabis. With declining sales after COVID pandemic. Recreational sales reached $180 million in 2024, but industry consolidation and closures are increasing. Fewer tourists are visiting Denver for marijuana as legalization spreads nationwide. Businesses like Pure Elevations, Cannabis Spa, and Salon are adapting by offering on-site cannabis sales and consumption, including cannabis-infused spa treats. The owner, Rebecca Muraquin, believes diversifying revenue streams and promoting cannabis over pharmaceuticals will help sustain her business. You were first to go. You in Washington. Okay, and 11 years ago, of course, you were going to be busy. But what you didn't do was you didn't protect your industry, but because you overbuilt it, not realizing that it wasn't going to be forever. So you gave out thousands of licenses, you taxed the shit out of everything. But meanwhile, as more, and I've said this before, as more and more states opened up around you, especially when California opened up too to go recreational too. Don't forget they were a couple of years later, a few years later. You're going to lose revenue. Not everyone doesn't need to go there anymore. There's states around them now they can go pick up their weed now too. So if someone like Indiana that was driving all the way to Colorado, they can go to fucking Michigan, they can go to Ohio, or they can come to Illinois, and eventually Kentucky. So of course your sales were going to go down. You didn't plan. You oversaturated your markets because you really thought. Still, even though Colorado's a big pot smokers there, it's still not enough to have that many stores when you don't need them. You got to protect your industry, and I think there's a couple states that have done that too, which is good. I think I read it today, or I'm going to read it today on the show. But there's some states right now. I think it's Vermont. Yeah, I think it's Vermont. They're canceling no more signups because they want to protect their industry. They don't want to have an overabundance of dispensaries when you don't have the market for it, because then people are going to lose. A lot of them is family-owned businesses up there. Smart. Not over making. I mean, I know everybody wants to. I know a lot of people want to get in it. I get it, but it's just when it's just too much. You're seeing it here in Illinois. Businesses closing down because there's too much. Too many open, and in places where maybe there's 30,000 people in that area, and only 1% of the people smoke. You know? So you're going to see, I hate to say it, you're going to see a recession in some states, unfortunately, when it comes to it. And you're going to see closures in the next 5, 10, 15 years. It's just the way it is. California governor vetoes bill to let marijuana growers sell directly to consumers at state-run farmers markets. He vetoed it. But as of Monday, he also signed a bill to legalize marijuana cafes. So Governor Gavin Newsom vetoed a bill that would have allowed small marijuana growers to sell directly to consumers at state-run farmers markets. That's bunk. He should have not vetoed that. He should have allowed that. While supporting the idea of aiding small cultivators, Newsom expressed concern that the bill's broad scope could disrupt existing regulations and strain the Department of Cannabis Control. He remains open to more focused versions of the bill in the future to address market issues and ensuring compliance with the legal cannabis framework. Hopefully you explain to them, and once you help them, fix the bill and throw some stuff out there for them. Just don't make him rewrite it and you say, nope, this ain't good enough. Come back when you get something better.
Table it for a year. Help them revise it.
Right. And then on Monday, he gave the final approval to cannabis lounge legalization from Assembly Member Matt Haney. So, not enough stars, I guess, that own a cultivation, big name stars that own a cultivation that wanted to sell at farmers markets. The big name stars were yelling at Newsom to approve cafes. So, because they want to own them, or they own a dispensary where they want to have a cafe.
Yeah.
So, but stick up for both. You should have said something about, hey, what about the growers? Let them grow at farmers markets. Let them come to our cafes and sell. Think outside the box. Vermont regulators to stop accepting new retail cannabis applications next month. Vermont Cannabis Control Board is pausing new retail license applications starting October 25th, 2024, due to concerns about market oversaturations. The halt affects larger cultivation licenses, which spares the smallest tier. Vermont currently has an uneven distribution of cannabis retailers, especially in cities like Burlington, while those have none due to local voting restrictions. The move aims to address imbalances and improve market regulations. Applications already in progress will have a limited time for approval. I'll give you. We live in Illinois. I'll give you a perfect example. If you go to Aurora, Illinois, in that surrounding area, there's 6 dispensaries. And Aurora doesn't have a population to
support that at all.
Right. And then you have one in Montgomery, and then you have one on the border of Oswego. So you have all those around there, and that's what I included. And you have Naperville that has 3. The population for that area does not match up for how many stores you have in that area. There's 4 in Aurora alone, and then you have Montgomery and Oswego that are right next to it. So you just got to think the population doesn't, instead of having 2 that could do really well, now you have 4 that's spreading the wealth out and maybe not doing so well as they should be. Other townships that have maybe a population of 10, 20, they should have their local dispensary there. They should allow them in that your little church farm towns, man. People like weed. Have a small little dispensary there in your little cute little towns, Let people get their weed instead of having to drive 40 miles to go somewhere. You get that tax revenue, It's smart on Vermont to see that, unlike Oklahoma, which I love going to that state. It's fun. Tulsa's great. But there were so many dispensaries for only being medical, and there was only 400,000. You had 2,200 dispensaries. Now that's too much, So it just doesn't make it. I like what Vermont did. They looked at their business ownership there and said, "Listen, we want you to make money. We want to make sure that we have just enough, and in this state to provide for everybody, so it doesn't get oversaturated, and then you guys start shutting down." That makes kind of good sense. So, New York Office of Cannabis introduces new tool to support climate goals and improve cannabis sustainability. New York's Office of Cannabis Management introduced Power Score, a free platform for cannabis cultivators to track energy and water usage. This initiative aligns with the state's environmental goals under the Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act. Licensees must report resources used by August 2025. The platform helps cultivators optimize efficiency, reduce cost, and meet sustainability standards. Small cultivators get relaxed requirements supporting equity. OCM's efforts to aim to build a sustainable, social, responsible cannabis market. Cannabis workers now outnumber these industries. Ready? With over 440,000 working in the cannabis industry, it overtook these groups, but still way behind some others. Back in 2020, they predicted cannabis industry workers as an industry would overtake computer programmers, and it happened.
Really?
Yep. Currently, there are 440,000 people working in weed and 343,000 in computer programming.
I would think there were more people in computer programming.
Nope, not according to this.
Wow.
While a large amount of computer programmers work for marquee companies like Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, Stripe, most cannabis workers work for a mom and pop business. The economics of marijuana industry is also positive as the jobs are spread out across the country and in different sized communities. Most tech jobs in hubs, including Atlanta, Austin, New York City, and Seattle. Currently, the cannabis industry is at the mercy of D.C. and the Biden administration as a way to rescheduling. Overall, the federal government is largest employer in the U.S. with 295 million clocking in to make things run, which doesn't always understand startup industries. That's a lot of people working for the government.
How many people work for the government?
Almost 3 million people.
Wow.
If the government ever fucking crashes, we're all fucked. That's 2.95 million people that our tax dollars provide for. Cannabis industry is way behind the behemoths of retail and fast food, though. Their base is a mixture of big companies and small businesses in almost everyone's community. There are 9.2 million workers employed as a retail salesperson. 9.2 million workers employed. Cashiers for the first-line supervisors and 4,717,192 workers in fast food, taking and making your coffee, burger, taco, and donuts. That's a lot of employment right there. Whew. And they want to automate everything now. That's a lot of people that can be unemployed. According to some tech workers in Seattle, computer programmers have reached the apex of benefits during the pandemic and now are settling into fewer perks like the rest of the workforce. Still, the average salary of a programmer, though, is $100,000, while the cannabis industry is only $47,000.
Yes, I thought about that.
There is a significant difference in training and location, but the cannabis industry still provides a good number of jobs in the country. When it comes to numbers, the cannabis workforce is about the same size as Target, 450,000, Kroger, 420,000, and FedEx, 480,000. It is way smaller than Amazon, though, at 1.6 million, and Walmart is 2.3 million. There are almost 1.9 million farmers and over 1.5 million realtors, of the National Association of Realtors. And in regards to jocks, there's a bit over 35K who work in the professional sports in the United States. Cannabis, baby. You're going to be at a mill soon. We'll be a million. Once more states open up.
Oh, yeah.
GOP senator files bill to triple THC cap for hemp as lawmakers weigh competing cannabis regulatory proposals. Senator Rand Paul has introduced a bill to triple the THC limit in hemp from 0.3 to 1%, addressing industry concerns over federal regulations. The bill also proposes testing final hemp products instead of flower and simplifies transportation documentation. This comes amid debates over broader hemp regulations, while other lawmakers are pushing for stricter controls on hemp-derived cannabinoids like Delta-8. Competing proposals offer different paths for regulating the hemp and cannabis market. Iowa House Democrats eye legalizing marijuana in 2025 session, though unlikely under Governor Kim Reynolds. While the 2021 poll showed most adults Iowans support legalizing marijuana for recreational use, House Democrats are looking to deliver legislation that they say voters want. Well, yeah, come on, Iowa. You have more people coming over to Illinois to get their weed than you probably, you have some med, but it is only 4 in the whole state. Minnesota judge dismisses lawsuit claiming people who grow marijuana at home can sell it under state constitution's peddler provisions. A Minnesota judge dismissed a lawsuit that sought to allow home cannabis growers to sell the excess product under the state's constitution's peddler provision. The judge ruled in the case of Premature, noting the state's Office of Cannabis Management, the OCM, is still finalizing regulations. The decision leaves the door open for future legal cannabis once the rules are set. Plaintiffs argue they shouldn't need license to sell home-grown cannabis, but the court deferred judgment until the regulatory process is completed. Ask for a caregiver program. Fight for it, but the laws aren't finished yet. Don't sell home-grown. Look what Michigan has done. Ask for a little bit more, though, because you can grow a ridiculous amount of weed there, 5 pounds or 8 pounds. I can't remember. I think it was 5 pounds they can catch. Wow. Right. So what you do is fight for caregiver program where you can home grow for 50 clients. If you can grow 5 pounds of weed, you can take care of 50 clients. all day long, and you make a good living. Fight for that instead, and make it if you teach it that it's a mom and pop business, you're gonna pay your taxes and you're gonna buy a license for a township you're in. You could do a lot more with that and get people's ear opened and just say you should be allowed to sell weed, your home grow. But then what is this? They're not getting any tax. And trust me, I don't want to give taxes to them. But if you want them to say yes to something, come up with an idea outside the box to make them bring them in going, oh, we can make money. Right. Oh, maybe we'll think about it now, and come up with a caregiver program like Michigan, but better. 50 clients that you can provide for. They all have to have a card that they can come to you. You have to have a license. You have to get your shit tested. There has to be some standardization. Yeah. But look at it that way. Hopefully some Minnesota folks up there are listening. Kentucky approved state-ever medical marijuana businesses and scheduled licensing lottery next month to prepare for legalization. Kentucky has approved its first medical marijuana license in the KCA Labs, a testing facility. A lottery will be held in October for licenses to cultivators and processors preparing for the state's medical cannabis market launch. The program aims to provide safe, quality, tested medical cannabis for patients with serious conditions. Over 5,000 applications have been submitted for licenses with strong competition for dispensary slots. Yep, over 4,000. The program is advancing swiftly with more licensing develops expected soon. Pennsylvania voters in key districts support recreational cannabis legalization. A majority of voters in 5 competitive state House districts in Pennsylvania support legalizing marijuana for recreational use. In these 5 districts, at least 64% of each support legalization. The highest support they've seen is Beaver County, Luzerne, and Lackawanna counties, and were respectively 43 and 40% said they strongly support legalization. Nice. Global cannabis seeds market, beans market, huge. Projected to reach $6.5 billion by 2031. So if you're a breeder out there and you've been struggling and you've been doing this for 20 plus years and you do okay, everything you've gotten to you to this point is preparing you to earn a little piece of that pie. $6.5 billion globally is a lot of money for breeders. If you can make a good living at it, eventually it's going to happen. So all that hard work, all those years of fucking struggle, all that fucking work is going to come to where it's be like, I'm making a very good living on this. Because the global seed market is projected to grow from $1.3 billion in 2021 to $6.5 billion by 2031, driven by changing laws and increasing consumer interest. Key markets include Germany, where new laws allow home cultivation, and the U.S., where cannabis seeds are legal under federal law. A significant event, the Terpenes Seed Festival will occur in San Francisco in December 2024, highlighting the industry's growing culture. 81% of cannabis consumers agree all Americans should have the right to grow at home. 81%. 62% of cannabis consumers would rather grow their own cannabis than buy it. 34% of cannabis consumers who have grown at home do so because they feel safer consuming own home-grown flower compared to store-bought cannabis. Huge. All my breeder friends out there that have been on our show, the Grow Hour, your time is coming. Be patient, be diligent. Look at all the hard work you've been doing for 10, 15, 20 years, some of you. You've mastered your craft in some ways. Now's your payday. I
was just explaining this to somebody because I think if you don't think about it, you just don't think about it. If you're not into gardening, it's not something that occurs to you. You need seeds to start a plant. All of us, most of us, I should say, go to a garden store, we go to a big box store, and we buy seedlings. Well, those had to be planted by somebody who needed a seed. So if you want a particular heirloom tomato or a particular type of flower, someone had to have that exact seed. That variety has to be kept alive. Someone has to not only grow flowers, but also they need to breed plants just to produce seeds and then bank those seeds and store those seeds properly so they can be sold to people. You buy your little seed packet at the store. That's a whole sub business of cultivation and weed consumption that I think most of the world really we don't get into thinking about that. Right? It's just like an available resource. Right. You don't think about any of that. And so there's strains Like Mr. Weedman has his show, The Grow Hour, and he has Earl on, and Earl is a breeder. He
calls himself a pollen chucker.
Yeah, pollen chucker. He's like a little mad scientist. He's not little, he's a big guy. He's a mad scientist. He's trying to create new strains, he's creating hybrids, but also most of these tried and true breeders want to preserve old varieties of cannabis strains that are hard to find. And when you get one of those, it's like the golden egg. When you get, all you need is one successful seed, and you could potentially get more seeds. And then you're the guy who has the seed to
you have that
the magic,
the golden egg that you bred the strain that everybody wants. It is a big deal.
So when you think about the black market, you think about the craft market, you know, our traditional growers who are like tried and true legacy growers, all the way up to cultivating for the commercial industry and the legal industry. That's a lot of plants going. That's
a lot of them use clones.
Seed.
A lot of people, a lot of the big cultivators are doing clones.
Right.
I like seed.
But you need your seeds.
I love growing from seed. I don't have much success for clones. Just been me personally. It's just because I have a little tent. But I love growing from seed. I do. It takes a little bit longer, but I think personally, my opinion, from what I've grown and what I've seen, I feel when you grow from seed, the plant grows stronger. We've talked about this on the Grow Hour,
the plant,
but also I think that the plant
stronger.
Overall grows stronger. Like everything from the trunk, the base of the plant, the roots, the stems, the trichomes. I've seen. It's just my opinion. Don't chastise me, but I've said this on the Grow Hour too. I love growing from seed, and I think the plant has to have that struggle to grow out of that soil to become that oneness, you know, with the soil, and then also when it pops out to like really like it's giving birth out of the soil, you know, and I just
made it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's like the sperm going to the egg. The one gets there first is the winner. You know, I think that seed won. And it knows it. And that's just my passion of that plant. Yeah, it's just my pride. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with cloning. I love seed. Yeah, it's just my favorite. So Boston Freedom Rally, and thanks, Mrs. Weedman. That was great. Chiming in there too, because it made a lot of sense. To me. Boston Freedom Rally celebrates 35th year of cannabis advocacy unity. The 35th annual Boston Freedom Rally took place on September 16th, celebrating cannabis culture and advocating for reform. Despite rainy weather, the event drew a diverse crowd with music, speakers, and local vendors, including a marketplace with 235 booths. Organized by the Massachusetts Cannabis Reform Coalition, the rally emphasized community, education, and inclusiveness. Participants enjoyed food trucks, a lively atmosphere, underscoring the progress of ongoing challenges in the cannabis advocacy. For more, check it out next year. Boston Freedom Rally. 35 years. Hell yeah. Recreational cannabis tax revenue jumped by 52% in Maryland this spring. Comptroller's office says Maryland's collected 22.3, little old state of Maryland. Beautiful. 22.3 million in tax revenue from recreational cannabis sales this spring, just this spring, making an increase of more than 52% over the previous quarter, according to the state comptroller's office. That's a lot of monies. Hopefully they do good with it. So this is crazy. FBI reports what, Mrs. Weedman? I'm going to let you read this title because I'm disgusted.
Okay. This is in the year of 2023. The FBI reported over 200,000 people were arrested for cannabis-related violations. How is that even possible? The FBI reported that 217,150 arrests for marijuana violations were made in 2023, slightly down from 2022, when the figure stood at 227,108. According to data published in the Bureau's Crime Data Explorer. Of those arrested in 2023, a staggering 84%, a bit over 200,000 people, were charged with possession alone, highlighting the ongoing focus on low-level cannabis offenses. It's important to note that the FBI's arrest data reflects the number of arrests, not the number of individuals arrested, as a person may be arrested multiple times in a year. The 2023 figures are based on reports from local agencies covering 90% of the U.S. population, meaning the true number of marijuana arrests is likely higher. While this represents a long-term decline from the peak of 870,000, yes, 870,000, marijuana-related arrests in 2007, Deputy Director of the National Organization for Reform on Marijuana Laws, the acronym NORML, Paul Armentano expressed concern. At a time when voters and their elected officials nationwide are reevaluating state and federal marijuana policies, it is inconceivable that government agencies are unable to produce more explicit data on the estimated cost and scope of marijuana prohibition in America, Armentano said. Despite state legalization efforts, marijuana-related prosecutions remain a major driver of the U.S. drug war. Marijuana arrests are part of a larger trend of drug possession offenses, which ranked second for arrest offense rates in the United States in 2023. Police recorded over 3.8 million cases of drug possession, following only the category of all other offenses. Jeez. Drug possession was followed by arrests for simple assault, driving under the influence, and larceny. Data follows a trend that's been present in every other report in the past. Aggravated assault was further down on the list, underscoring how low-level drug offenses still dominate the U.S. criminal justice system. The FBI 2023 crime in the nation statistics details over 14 million criminal offenses reported by more than 16,000 law enforcement agencies. This data seeks to represent 94.3% of the U.S. population. One main outcome is that in 2023, national violent crime decreased by 3%, with notable reductions in murder, rape, aggravated assault, and robbery. The agency also tracked a slight 0.6% decline in hate crime incidents, signaling progress in multiple areas of law enforcement, even as cannabis arrests continue to contribute significantly to those numbers.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy, because we still have our elected officials and our president and two people running for president talking about no one should be in jail for weed or be arrested for weed.
And it's still going on.
Still going on. Mm-hmm. Terrible.
Crazy.
International news, Ukrainian officials approve a list of medical marijuana qualifying conditions under country's new legalization law. Ukraine officials have approved a list of about 20 qualifying conditions for medical marijuana use under the new legalization laws, including multiple sclerosis, neuropathy, and complications from chemotherapy. While the law allows for future additions, post-traumatic stress disorder is not currently included. Really? That should be like number one on your list, what's going on in Ukraine right now. The move aims to assist soldiers dealing with the war-related injuries. The law also establishes strict control over medical cannabis while recreational use remains prohibited. More details can be found in a full article. A couple in New Zealand vowed to fight court order confiscating a $1.7 million property after cannabis operation busted. Heron and Lewis are fighting to retain ownership of two properties worth $1.7 million after police seized them due to Heron's illegal cannabis cultivation. When Heron was raided in 2020, officers found 331 cannabis plants in 4 different stages of cultivation in 4 grow rooms or tents. Following the raid in 2020 that revealed a large-scale operation, the properties were deemed tainted by criminal activity. Although they have been ordered to forfeit the properties, Lewis, who has no criminal record, will keep $147,000 for her contributions. The couple plans to appeal the forfeiture, emphasizing its impact on the 3-year-old daughter. Nobody should be in jail for weed and lose their house because they have just shouldn't be done.
Seize the plants.
All right, give them a fine. Okay, and then go smoke them, burn them. Well, sorry.
Pass them out to the neighbors.
Yeah. Attorney General cautions police against locking up persons for small amount of marijuana. Attorney General Anil Nadal has warned the Ghana police force against detaining individuals for possessing 30 grams of less of marijuana. It is now legal under recent amendments to the Narcotics and Psychotropic Substance Control Act. He clarified the positions of 0 to 15 grams results in mandatory counseling, while 15 to 30 grams leads to community services. Nadal emphasized that the law does not impose imprisonment. Police cannot arrest individuals for the offense. He urged officers to grant bail instead for more. So just if you're there, man, just you shouldn't be arrested for weed. So I have had this article for like a week or two, and before we were doing this episode, because I didn't know how people would take this article. And don't be offended by it. If you believe in Jesus and you go to church, and this is just something that was very made my mind think that if this really happened, it'd be something for the plant more so than everything. So was cannabis the secret to Jesus healing miracles? Study uncovers ancient remedies.
Jesus Christ and his apostles could have used a cannabis-based anointing oil to help heal people with disabling diseases. A study exploring biblical texts has sparked a provocative discussion about the potential use of cannabis in ancient religious practices, specifically those associated with Jesus and his disciples. This research indicates that cannabis was likely a key ingredient in the anointing oils used during biblical times, supporting claims that Jesus may have utilized this plant for its medicinal properties. According to Chris Bennett, writing for High Times, the substance known as cannabisum, referenced in Scripture, is now believed to be a cannabis extract. Bennett cites various scholars who support this claim, suggesting that the oils used for anointing during Jesus' time contained this potent substance. There can be little doubt about a role for cannabis in Judaic religion. Carl Ruck, a professor of classical mythology at Boston University, told The Guardian. Ruck elaborated, obviously, the easy availability and long-established tradition of cannabis in early Judaism would inevitably have included it in the Christian mixtures. Bennett recovered the research of Polish anthropologist Sula Benet, who in 1936 discovered the translation error in the Old Testament and then demonstrated in her essays, tracing one word through different languages, and early diffusions and folks' uses of hemp, written in 1936 and 1975, that the Hebrew terms canna and cannabisum identified cannabis. The research proposes that the anointing oils not only played a ceremonial role, but also served practical healing purposes. Bennett argued that those anointed with these oils were literally drenched in this potent mixture. While many contemporary cannabis users prefer smoking or ingesting the plant, the ancient method of oil infusion allowed for absorption through the skin, potentially enhancing its therapeutic effects. Bennett drew connections between these practices and the healing miracles attributed to Jesus in the Gospels, particularly those involving skin and eye diseases. If cannabis was one of the main ingredients in the ancient anointing oil, and receiving this oil is what made Jesus Christ and his followers Christian, then persecuting those who use cannabis could be considered antichrist, he concluded. This perspective invites a reevaluation of how cannabis is viewed in both historical and contemporary contexts. As public opinions shift toward more favorable views on cannabis, the implications of these findings could influence discussions about its place in religious and therapeutic practices today. With ongoing debates about cannabis legalization and its medical benefits, the intersection of ancient traditions and modern science may help reshape conversations surrounding this historically significant plant.
Before you get mad at us that we read this article, we talked about Jesus using hemp oil. I'm going to explain something to you real quick. Jesus knew what we've talked about on this show, that there's what in those leaves?
Oh, there's angels.
And Jesus knew about the cannabis plant. Why? Because it was created, right? Mm-hmm. And he used cannabis oil, hemp oil, seed oil to help heal lepers and people with ailments, because he knew there was angels in those leaves.
I think the idea of like sitting in a bath of hemp oil or cannabis oil
Sounds
would just be amazing.
Yeah. Be like C3PO from Star Wars going into his oil bath going, this oil bath is so good for my circuits. And my But yes, so biblically they used oils to heal. And Jesus knew that cannabis came from heaven and there was angels in those leaves and had healing properties. That's amazing. Study it, learn it, follow it. It's amazing. Jesus knew that cannabis was a saving, healing plant. Why?
Amen.
Amen. There's a celeb chef that debuts surprise weed line with famed farm. Celebrity chef Chris Constantino has launched a cannabis line called Spicy Arugula, featuring pre-rolls from rolls made from a blend of THC, CBD, and CBG. Hell
Called
yeah.
Spicy Arugula.
Spicy Arugula. It's kind of a good name.
That's cute.
He introduced that Hall of Flowers in Santa Rosa. These products aim to keep those with anxiety, offering a lower potency option compared to high THC strains. Man, smart man right there. And he's having the trifecta, THC, CBD, and CBG.
Nice.
Yes. Constantino emphasizes sustainability farming practices in partnership with Sonoma Hills Farm. The pre-rolls will be available at select California dispensaries soon, alongside a lineup of hemp cooking salts. For more details, visit the full dispensaries and all the products they'll be selling there.
Nice.
Hell yeah. I love it. I love it. Mrs. Weedman.
Mr. Weedman.
That's the end of the show.
Yeah, I'm ready to get normal again.
You got anything else to say? I think you might have just said it all right there.
Yeah, I think that's it. Hope you get normal and stay normal and have a great week. And if this terrible disaster of a storm affected you or your friends and family, we are truly sorry, and we hope that you can recover and get back to living just as soon as possible.
Yeah, if anybody can, if they're looking at any donations like clothing drives or food drives or any kind of drives, let us know. We'll announce it on the show, and we'll definitely participate on that to help out all of our fellow humans down in the Southeast and who've been affected across the United States because of this. So we love you out there. Peace be with you all. As Paulie always says, smoke smart, puff puffing away.
Puff, puff, pass.
Check out our cannabis lifestyle brand online at 8decades.com. Our custom smokes and accessories are perfect for your coffee table, bedroom nightstand, or kitchen counter. They're designed for you to show them off. The Canna community is also loving our hemp and cotton blend t-shirts, sweatshirts, scarves, and hats, finished off with our 8 Decades logo. We've got some awesome long-lasting goods that will be your favorite for years to come. 8 Decades, because a 9th decade of cannabis prohibition isn't acceptable.